The Xbox Developer Direct 2025 kind of came out of nowhere for me. I had no idea that it was coming and kind of expected it to be a bit of a bore fest with their track record lately. It felt like they never had anything to show and just promised things down the line, which is why I'm happy to say that this Direct was well worth the watch. Team Ninja dropped a trailer and dived into what they had been working on. This was not even close to anything I thought would be coming. I thought after Ninja Gaiden 3 the best we would get in the 3D action space would be remakes, but a new installment announcement blew me away with its sleek design, beautiful locales, and perfectly dialed up showcase that displayed quick and visceral combat that Ninja Gaiden is known for. This isn't just Team Ninja, as they collaborate with Platinum Game, who are well known for their style and combat in terms of creating games. This is the godsend of collaborations. I thought the idea of Final Fantasy XVI bringing Ryoto Suzuki and most likely his combat team from the Devil May Cry series was as hype as it could get, but Team Ninja and Platinum Games was something I never thought could or would be a thing. Ninja Gaiden 4, from what they showed, looks phenomenal, with swift movement between traversal and combat in a colourful and stylized world that is a big change from what I remember the previous titles looking like. No matter how beautiful the setting, Ninja Gaiden has to get one thing right, and that's the action. And what was shown off is pointing towards this all being a perfect fit for their next installment. One thing I remember about how I felt when I played the earlier titles was the fact that if a target is still moving, they're still a threat. You could cut off a ninja's leg and it would crawl towards you and grapple you before plunging an explosive kunai into your chest, leading to some big damage. This to me made positioning and prioritizing specific enemies a must during fights, regardless of if they are ninjas, demons, or cyborgs from what Ninja Gaiden 4 has shown. This makes engaging with the series such a fun ride. Normally the stories have been based around Ryu Hayabusa, which we will be getting control of, but also a new character from Raven Clan, Yakumo. I don't know how this will go about happening, but I am looking forward to seeing how they handle this. Ryu is sporting his iconic 3D outfit with some extra stuff plated on his chest and his gauntlets. I don't love it, I don't hate it, as it's some creative expression to change him up while still being 100% recognizable. Yakumo, on the other hand, is a more slim built ninja who looks like he's rocking a futuristic tech wear. His hair is more anime styled and his combat looks nippy while still carrying that signature brutality that we're expecting. Overall, I like these designs. One is more of a futuristic twink while the other is more traditional, as you know, ninjas with latex and pre-oiled up arms. Jokes aside, I am extremely excited for this when it releases this fall in 2025. But Team Ninja didn't stop there. They then showed a trailer for Ninja Gaiden 2 Black running on Unreal Engine 5, and it looks beautiful. Now, I haven't played it, so I'm not going to pretend I've seen all the differences, but it released right there and then, and has been received quite well on Steam. South of Midnight reminds me of those games where the protagonist discovers their powers, and from that point on the world unfolds that which once couldn't be seen. With a variety of powers gained through unlocks as you progress through the game's story and explore, I feel like this game will be a hit for those who like narrative platformers. The combat itself looks like it has that adaptive in the moment kind of play, where you'll be put in against a multitude of enemies that complement each other with ranged attacks scattered from afar, fast mobs that can close the distance quickly, and heavy hitting brutes that might telegraph their attacks, but one mistake will lead to brutal damage. So finding out which order you need to handle them to best suit yourself will become a key factor during these encounters. The South Gothic creatures that were showcased looked interesting in design, and their story waiting to be unraveled within the world they were surrounded by. I really like the world itself, like these regions have their eye-catching factors that I paused and gazed at to see its warped existence. Lighting seems to breathe life into the game, with how the sun rays stretch across swamps and forests and the moonlight highlights the looming lights in the distance. The game just looks beautiful. A key element that I loved hearing about was that the boss fights have adaptive music that ramps up in tension as you power through that battle. The style choice to have the character running at a lower frame rate to give a hand-drawn effect, I feel is what turns me off this game, unfortunately. It's a cool premise, but I just don't personally like it. Insomniac's Spider-Man game gave you a suit that had the same effect, and it just doesn't do anything positive for me. Which is why I don't feel like I will enjoy this either, as it's not an option. Not saying this is a negative in any way, just my thoughts on it, and I'm sure some will love this and not have a gripe with it at all. I personally can't say that this game excites me or got its hooks in me with what was shown, but I'm sure that some can't wait to jump in and explore the world. I hope it does well, as it's a unique idea and I'd prefer that than everything being rebooted, remaked or remastered. South of Midnight will release this year on the 8th of April. I don't like turn-based games that much. There are some that I've played and thoroughly enjoyed, but it's not something that usually gets my attention, which is why Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has been on my radar so much. I've known what this is from the get-go, and still the story fills me with this sense of wonder. I want to know how this game plays in comparison to other turn-based games. I want to see the world unfold as you travel through it, and most of all, I want to uncover the narrative and see what is waiting for us. First of all, the game looks stunning in all senses of the word, be that the characters, the world and lighting, and everything just looks so visually pleasing. The way they've created this cinematic battle camera system that subtly observes the encounters, giving this visual display of capturing the weight of your attack in a stylish way to highlight each turn, looks fantastic. This paired with the reactive turn-based system just looks magnificent. The combat UI is also incredible, and personally I feel it looks better than Persona 5's UI. The lands you will travel through look immersive and warped, which is kind of my thing with world design. I love when something normal and familiar is twisted and fragmented to create an atmosphere that's unsettling and unknown. RPGs are known for having compelling stories, which feed your interest to find out what's going on and why. The slumbering paintress and a monolith appear, and each year the paintress wakes to paint a new number, and everyone over that number dies, as they're scattered out of existence. Expedition teams go out to try and kill the paintress to stop this from happening, but none have ever returned. This is such a powerful story idea, as the number counts down, each person's life draws shorter. Growing old with family, becoming who you always wanted to be, and loved ones all being stripped away because of some unknown entity deciding so. This pins your natural human instinct to survive under the grains of sand that time forever spills. It's one hell of a motivator, and I can imagine this is going to hook a lot of people who really enjoy getting lost in an immersive experience. From the voice acting that's shown off, it seems like they have a really talented team that have captured their characters' emotions from moment to moment really well. Each character will carry their own morals and ideals that will be fleshed out as the game goes on, while they also grieve their losses. I think this is an amazing focus, as grief and loss can lead to a volatile emotion as they try to keep themselves together individually and as a group. The team can be built out in a multitude of ways, which seems overwhelming to see on screen, but at the same time kind of exciting, as this allows you to craft your team out your way. If you want a certain character to focus being a healer, then you build them out that way. I hope this is how it works, but I guess we won't fully know until April 24th, 2025. Doom: The Dark Ages is going to be the power fantasy of this year. It's difficult to even rival that really, as you are death in motion, carrying an arsenal of powerful weapons, leaving everything in your wake scattered across the ground. Every location the Doomslayer steps into becomes a coliseum of agony and pain for any who choose to stand in his way. Unlike Doom Eternal, The Dark Ages focused on showing boots on the ground gameplay, as they demonstrate the bobbing and weaving through enemy fire to close the distance. I like the idea of being grounded. I don't need another Doom Eternal, I can just go replay it. So this focus on sidestepping projectiles similar to what you would do in the original games made in the 90s is a beautiful mark of respect for the legacy of Doom. Contextual combat with a single button press was something the devs were excited to highlight, with blocking, parrying, deflecting and throwing their new innovative tool, the Shield Saw. This single button press option for handling the combat from movement to movement looks like it will create lots of different ways of tackling hordes of demons. They also showcase 3 melee options with an iron flail, a lightning punch, and a mace to follow up attacks with some heavy hitting damage. And there will be skill upgrades to unlock to further improve how these are all used in the game. Finally, they showed off the guns, and this is where Doom has always shined, with its imaginative direction when creating something weighty and destructive for you to unload across the arena. The combat is meaty, you blast off flesh of demons till bone is exposed, before following up with a ruthless finisher. All of this looks perfectly stitched together with a soundtrack that you can feel pounding your chest with every action you make. And then they decide to show off the fact that you are going to get to pilot a mech and a cybernetic dragon, which are not a one and done moment and come with their own mini boss fights. The only thing I'll miss in this game is the glory kills. I thought they were fun little breathers in combat to rip apart a demon. It seems like it's been kind of dumbed down to a melee hit or kick, which looks alright, but when you've experienced the glory kills in Doom 2016 and Eternal, it feels kind of lackluster. id Software just know what they're doing with Doom. I haven't played a Doom game that I didn't love. Doom 3 wasn't well received, but I enjoyed it a lot and its DLC. They tried something new and realised that it wasn't the essence of Doom that fans loved. Then they brought out Doom 2016 and revitalised the series to what it is now. This is the game of this showcase I was the most hyped about, and left me eager to jump into Doom the Dark Ages on the 15th of May 2025. All of these games are being developed by people who are imaginative, creative, and above all else passionate, which is why each game has its own unique style and ideas that made this developer direct something worth watching. Xbox has been stumbling over their own feet for a long time now, and making bad call after bad call. So I'm happy to see these teams haven't had their creative vision affected by that, and have been able to go and make these experiences I'm sure will be a wonderful time for all who are excited for them. Each game shown today will also be on Game Pass day one, which is huge. It means if you've already paid for it, then new games are coming. And if you want to save your money from buying it but still experience it, then the option's there for you to go for. You've got Ninja Gaiden 4 and Doom the Dark Ages as those action-packed, balls to the wall, slaughter anything that stands in your way kind of games. You've got Expedition 33, which most likely will have me questioning what I've done with my life and if I'm happy with it. And while I might not be hyped for South of Midnight, the creative direction, the ideas that they have put on paper and brought to life stand as a beacon for how much passion they have put towards this game. I hope all of them sell well and earn a myriad of awards and praise from players and critics alike. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day and or evening, and I'll catch you next time.